Europe has already admitted it got things wrong. Britain, however, still struggles to even acknowledge the issue out loud. In this confrontation, Alex Phillips lays bare the false promises of multiculturalism that Labour continues to avoid and explains why the fallout has now reached a point where it can no longer be ignored.
And you've got similar policies being adopted in Sweden. These are sort of proposals that are now being looked into across Europe because we've realised what's happened with levels of immigration and lack of integration. It's creating social disquiet and disharmony to the point in which people are even starting to use words such as civil war, for crying out loud. Now, I think there is nothing wrong with defending your national cultural mores, your communal morality, and I think that that's what we need to be doing. I fully agree we need to ban the full face covering, which they've done in Denmark. I think that is absolutely right. I think that is a barrier for integration if you're not making eye contact. English language is vitally important. I think we need to look at the amount of translation services we offer. I personally would go as far as getting rid of faith schools that are not Catholic or C of E, which tend to allow children from other faiths to come in, because I don't think taking children away and educating them primarily in their own cultural context is healthy. And I personally would also go as far as banning the slaughter of animals that haven't been pre-stunned. And I'd say to anybody who says, well, we don't like that and we demand exceptions because of what we want within our system, this is our country. We believe in animal welfare. We don't believe that women should be shamed for exposing their faces. And we believe little children should all play in a sandpit together. Simple.
Liz?
I'm going to have to react to the piece that we just saw from Simon Reeves, because we're talking about forced evictions there. And that's the comparison that we are discussing today. This is really bad stuff for us to be talking about in Europe. We've been here before. And when I came in, what I wanted to talk about actually was the fact that in Denmark, they are prepared, they're quite resigned to paying 46% of their income on taxation. We only spend 34% here, so that in Denmark, of course, there is much more money within the public services to try and integrate into communities. But what we're hearing, and we're hearing it today from Alex, is this rhetoric of division. Of course, we must find a way to bring our communities together.
So how do you do that?
A civil war.
No, I say other people have started saying that, and that's alarming. Rhetoric of division. I'm talking about making sure people are brought together and not divided.
You came on television and you used that term.
No, it's very clear.
She said other people had been saying it.
Reached the point that other people are warning of that.
There is a tactic of raising things and then countering it in that sort of term. But this language that we're using...
Do you think that there aren't divisions? Do you think that anything does need to be done, or you don't think that...
I think when we were talking about schools just now, you could equally apply that, and it'll be interesting next year with reforms policies about Welsh medium schools in Wales, quite frankly.
This interview matters because it cuts through years of political spin and half-truths. Alex Phillips is not talking about individuals. She is talking about failed policies. That difference is crucial, and it is exactly what her critics try to twist or ignore. Across Europe, governments are now quietly admitting what they once refused to say in public. Bringing in large numbers of people without requiring proper integration leads to parallel societies. Sweden has acknowledged this reality. Denmark has taken action. Even countries that were once praised as models of multicultural success are now changing their approach. Britain, however, remains stuck in denial. Alex Phillips sets out a position that is neither extreme nor radical. Her argument is based on shared civic values: a common language, public visibility, animal welfare, mixed education, and shared standards. These are not demands based on ethnicity. They are expectations for society as a whole. That is where the Labour response becomes telling. Instead of addressing whether social divisions exist, the Labour MP immediately shifts the discussion to tone. We hear familiar lines, divisive rhetoric, dangerous language, the need to bring communities together. These phrases sound reassuring, but they dodge the real issue. Alex asks a straightforward question. Do you accept that social divisions exist and that they need policy solutions? Labour never gives a clear answer. This is the central problem Alex is highlighting. For years, the political class has behaved as if admitting tension somehow creates it. In reality, ignoring tension allows resentment to build with no limits. Alex also makes it clear that she is not calling for panic or inflammatory language. She is pointing out that such language already exists. and that fact alone should worry any serious policymaker. Instead of dealing with the substance, Labour changes the subject. Denmark's integration policies become a debate about tax rates. Failures of integration are reduced to funding issues. Cultural cohesion is reframed as a communication problem. This is classic political avoidance. Alex's comments on faith-segregated schooling are not about attacking religion. They are about social development. Children who are educated separately often grow up separately. That is not a controversial claim in policy terms. It is something we can observe. The same applies to language requirements. They are not meant to punish anyone. They are a basic requirement for participation in society. Yet every one of these points is treated with suspicion. Not because they lack evidence, but because they challenge a narrative Labour has defended for decades. Multiculturalism, without integration, was presented as an unquestionable good. When the evidence changed, the politics did not. Alex Phillips represents a move away from slogans and towards clear standards. Her critics accuse her of dividing society, but the irony is obvious. A society without shared rules ends up dividing itself. This interview feels uncomfortable, not because Alex is aggressive, she is not, but because she refuses to act as if the problem does not exist. Labour's unwillingness to engage honestly tells viewers everything they need to know. Britain does not lack compassion. It lacks clarity. Until politicians are prepared to explain what joining British society actually means, cohesion will stay a talking point rather than a reality. That is the lie Alex Phillips exposes, and that is why this clip still matters.